Twisting and turning inside out. Beautiful move. Trying to get the shot on. He holds. He shoots. He scores! Absolutely.
The pitch. High fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives it a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races. Inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
Oh, man, I'm so proud of the hello, everybody. Live TV. I just watched the promo because I was told by our volunteer, Nick, A1 is here, A2. Ryan is sick with COVID, so prayers for Ryan.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and Smoking Jim now knows the first person that he ever met that has COVID in his family. And it's officially now that Smoking Jim can't be in denial, and that's not in Egypt.
Yeah, that's that river, right?
Yeah, it's not in Egypt. It's Denial. I'm so honored and blessed. I want to say hi to all of you. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be on TV for 10 years. This is an award-winning show. We've won awards for almost 9 years straight. Producer of the Year, Producer of the Month, many awards on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Bethel Bakery supplied the happy 10-year anniversary cake. Whoa, we're going to try to, we got A2. Let's see if he can pull this up while I'm talking. Look at that cake from Bethel Bakery. I got to say hi to Shirley and Dolly. They checked me out today, and I said we'd be on air at 7 o'clock. And I made a new friend while I was at Olive Oil's Pizzeria with Frank. Frank said, congrats. I meet a guy there, and Frank introduces me to him. His name's Kurt, and he said, I'll take care of you, Frank, at my place. I go, where's your place? He goes, I'm the owner of Brewster's. You know the ice cream place?
Yeah,
Jim?
Brewster's.
All you guys, I know you're shocked, but
Yeah.
Brewster's is only a mile from our studio.
Wow, yeah.
My son and I have been there throughout the summer, so hello, Kurt. His son has a tattoo of the Pirates on his arm, Chip, and he's a huge Pirate fan, and he's in his 20s, so he's a Pirate fan. And I want to thank all of you for being great fans over the years, watching our show. We have over 700 shows now. I'm proud of all the help that I've had from Aaron Ward and Devin Shea to the beginning, Chris Satter, and I can't name all the people here. We might give a little shout out to Tiger. When he was here, he was Smoking Jim's Rookie of the Year for the short time that he was here. And we had a couple episodes we'll talk about off air. It was hilarious. And many others were with us. Dave Cable, shout out to him and his great family for supporting him while he does our shows. And he's had to even come in a few times and help adjust the studio. And we got these great HD cameras. So again, thanks to everybody. I'm just honored and proud to be able to do this. We're going to cut up some cake. But first, I want to thank all of you on Comcast 7 for watching us. Thank you on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin and Cranberry and Wexford and all points in between in the city of Pittsburgh and wherever you may see us. And for all our YouTube fans, thank you. And all of you watching on Facebook. I can't see my phone right now. I got cake here. I got plates. I got my special knife. And I'm about ready to cut some cake.
Give me a white piece.
Smoking Jim, he brought the race card up early. I'm going to cut a couple rows here. I'm also going to send Dave Cable some pieces for his family. So I'm going to try chopping this up. I'll cut it into thirds for this crew. Yeah. All right. This will go to Smoking Jim. Thank you, Chip. One coming your way, Chip. And I got a black balloon for Chip on purpose. He loves the chocolate. Be careful with that black. Nick, you lucked out. You got the corner I wanted.
Any spoons?
Use your fingers like you do all the time.
Sure you don't want to take the corner?
No, you can have it.
All right.
And A2, if you want to come get your cake. And we need A1 to come in here.
It's okay.
Sure.
Turn that into a.
Where's A1 here? He keeps us all. Look, he's on air, folks.
I'm right here.
He's right here. He keeps us all. Oh, I got this nice little piece here. I got to take the mask off. Hey, thank you for putting up with me and doing all this.
I know where your mouth
This is so much fun. All right, where are we here? Let me adjust this cake. And I'm saving some cake for Dave Cable here to show you how Al Levine, the talking machine, thinks. I got a special box to hold 4 pieces of cake for Dave Cable, Nora, and his 2 sons.
You want to just leave it here for him?
Well, after you leave, I will. Oh, did that slip out? Sorry. I don't want to be like John Gruden. I apologize.
Don't put it in an email.
Guess what? This tape will be wiped clean. And no email for anybody, especially Smoking Jim. He has 300,000 that he's never looked at. All right, A1 on the camera. Look at this.
Yeah, well, Smoking Jim doesn't have to worry about the emails. You know why?
No.
He never responds to them. He just he reads them and deletes them.
No, he don't even look at them. He don't even look
reads
at
them.
them. No,
He reads them and
Chip,
deletes them.
he don't read them. He makes up his own stuff. So here we go. Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 412-831-1900. Shout out to Frank. Thank you very much for the 10-year anniversary wish. Great pizza, XL pepperoni pizza, steak hoagie was delicious tonight. Go there at Hillcrest Shopping Center. Great Italian food, salads, you name it, even desserts. Not like Bethel Bakery. Hold it. Magnifique. Oh, whoa, wait a second. All right, thank you. Let's see what else I have here. All right. We'll see what A2 can do. Look at this. Coming up. Bang. Look at that nice Pittsburgh Sportsline yellow polo. Accents that perfectly. And look how the Sportsline's just hanging there. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong, the honor this 8-year-old young man who died of DIPG, a dreaded brain cancer, right before his 9th birthday. Over 6 years ago he died. His family, the Fabius family, and personal friends, and I believe in sending you the Joey Fabius Childhood Cancer Foundation. They've raised over $100,000. They had their biggest event at the Bethel Park High School in September, and it was the 5K 1-mile run walk with superheroes. We filmed that. Another great event, raised a lot of money. They had over 450 people raced. And there were over 300-400 family members there, about 1,000 people. It was a great crowd. And they continue to try to get money to research and find a cure for DIPG. Dr. Gary from Children's Hospital, I talked to him, and he said, look for something in the next year or two to possibly help lessen the problems with DIPG, the dreaded brain cancer that once you're diagnosed as a child, you die within a year. So that's what we're looking for there. Don't forget to support them, like their Facebook page. And next up, let's see what Anthony can do here. 3 in a row. A2, 3 in a row. Always Be Smiling. It's named after Bennett. It was their son, 16 and a half years old. He died of kidney disease and other complications. He was handicapped, and he had 2 kidney transplants, and the last one was by his dad, Dean, and his mother, Kristen. And Dean started this Always Be Smiling because Bennett was always smiling. And it's a great nonprofit. They're trying to help people that are suffering through kidney disease, chronic kidney disease, and other kidney issues. They help families and kids and other people in the area. So they're doing a lot of great things. Thanks for the likes, and we're trying to pump them up to 800 likes. So please like their page. Always be smiling. Next up, one of my favorite nonprofits in Bethel Park. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. And A2 got 4 in a row. Look at how that goes with the yellow shirt. It actually blends in there, so excellent job. We'll try to make sure you can read that. There you go. I dipped down so you can see the sports line there. Had to be a little promotion. 10 years of being proud of this show and many more years to come. It's a great place there. They rent out a lot of the places. They had 107 windows put in, brand new roof, remodeled the whole place. They named a new auditorium, the Bethel Community Foundation Auditorium, on the top floor. And they had a great open house event. And I met one of my fans who donated a tree, because they're having people donate money for trees to make it look originally like the high school did back in Smoking Jim. Check your calendar, 1905.
Wow.
Way before you were born.
Wow.
As we all know. So they're trying to do it. So a gentleman came up to me, an older gentleman, and he came up to me and he goes, "Hey, Al, I love your cooking show. What are you going to cook next?" And I go, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm John Graff." And I said, "I just saw you up there donating to your wife." And I said, "That's such a great thing for you to do." And that was really nice. And he goes, what are you going to cook on the next show?" I go, "Wait till the 3rd week of October. I'll come up with something good for you." He goes, "I'll be watching." So shout out to John Graff. Keep on watching. I appreciate you. And it was nice meeting you there at the Bethel Park Historical Society. Julie and Matt from Reginald's Coffee. They decorated 16-foot skeleton and many other skeletons out there on the trolley and put a great Halloween theme there. So they're just great. I had my first cup of tea there that I haven't had in probably about a year, and it was delicious. So we even did an interview with Matt right behind where the roaster is, and he gets green coffee and he roasts all his coffee fresh. And I've had 20, 30 or more friends tell me, and this is just how it is, they go, his coffee is better than Starbucks.
Wow.
So you heard it here first. All right, another business started here on Broughton Road, right across from Brewster's now, my new friend Kurt's place, and Walgreens, which I won't mention them since they're a national chain. We'll stick with the local Brewster's. And they're right across the street there. Senior Helpers. Give them a call, 412-851-3223. Tell me somebody that's not getting older. I know I've never been this old before, and I'm aging as we speak. So if you're in that position where you need some help, they have people that can help you and caretakers that can come out and help. And again, call 412-851-3223 and ask for Jeff. Tell him Al Levine, the talking machine, said you can help my parents. You can help my uncle, my aunts. You can help me. And go with that. And they're just a great local company, and I know some people working there. Next up, Kathleen. Got to keep her in my prayers. I got a message. She just got on Facebook, friended me, and asked me, "What's this loose leaf green tea weather report?" So I explained it to her, and her being about 70 years old, she didn't understand. And I just told her I'd do it daily. She sends me a message. "I fell down because I was exhausted, and I have to rest, so I won't be getting back to you soon." So prayers to Kathleen. I know you can watch our show, and you love our show, and you appreciate us. So to better health, and don't wear yourself out. Your kidneys are getting worse, and you have a donor, so we're happy there. Just don't make it quicker. Just take your time and stay healthy. So prayers to you. All right. Another 501c3. What can A2 do here? Look, he did it. I was fumbling around. I gave that dramatic pause. He covered it strong. Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you, from $100 to $5,000 in grants. They just gave $10,000 to the Bethel Park Historical Society to help them remodel their auditorium on the top floor, which will handle many different events and things that happen out there. So it's great. They have money for you in Bethel Park doing great things. Check them out at bpcf.org. All right, let's see what else I got. I always have this great sheet. Who gave it to me? A1. I want you for BPTV. And A2 got all these perfectly. Look at that, how it's centered.
He didn't even break a sweat. Notice that.
Unbelievable. I don't think he touched the
He
camera
doesn't
on
have any
that
sweat
one.
rings under his arms or nothing.
I hate to reveal his secret, but he didn't touch the camera on the last three. He's on fire. Sorry, A2. Just telling the truth. But volunteer 412-831-3304 is an example. We've been having a full house here, and I need somebody to eat Ryan's cake, so I'm going to take a piece of cake to my son Drew. But you could be a volunteer like A2, A1. And Nick, look at Nick parlayed and talked me into hiring him to be one of our co-hosts. And now he's dressed up like the businessman that he is, working for KDKA Radio 60 hours a week now. How could a rookie get up to 60 hours a week?
Congratulations. Oh, you know
And
what?
that's on FM. So check out KDKA FM.
And when you hit 80 hours, then you're in my neighborhood.
Wow.
Can't wait.
Wow.
And if I embellish a little bit, I don't apologize. And
fine with
good luck to you, but give us a call for BPTV. Again, 412-831-3304. All right, we got A2 on fire today. You know I got to check him. Wait for this. I'll see if I can position this for A2. Let me see what he did. There's a pause of me looking around. Whoa! I'm only shaking a little bit. Skeet Service Station, 6103 Library Road, Finleyville. 724-348-4715. Talk to Skeets Lewandowski and tell him Al Levine, the talking machine, said you work on anything and everything that runs on gas. And Chip says to always bring some gas, but I talked them into they have a can for you. They'll fill you up if you run out there like Smoking Jim has. They'll add that gallon in there, maybe two. But they work on electric things and like hedge trimmers and other weed whackers and maybe even screwdrivers and other electronic tools. They fix that too. And they just do about anything you can do to cars, trucks, boats, you name it. They work on it. They even had a cage for raccoons that Smoking Jim misses. He didn't realize they broke out and wanted to be wild because he says he's an owner of a dog and never sees the dog. But that's just Smoking Jim. But check out Skeet Service Station. They sponsor What's on Your Mind. And that's a segue into What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
I got to watch the cake.
you got to see Levine. VIP of BPTV.
Thank you.
I would pay your mom if she could make a T-shirt. She could make a T-shirt for Tony. That's the worst T-shirt I ever seen from Pittsburgh Technical College. They got to be able to do a better job than that. Hey, Al Levine, the talking machine.
What?
10 years, 10 years, 10 months. Congratulations. But hey, real quick.
No, take your time. You're on a
Al Levine, the talking
roll.
machine.
You're on a roll. You didn't bring up the race card, Tony. So
Hey.
just sharing that with Tony at Chick-fil-A.
I
I'm
just
taking a bite.
I just got to say this. While you got a mouthful, while you got a mouthful of cake, I do
That's never shut him up yet.
never
Oh.
shut him up yet. I do got to say a few words about John Gruden. I met John Gruden years ago.
Let me swallow.
I met John Gruden years ago when he was assistant coach at University of Pittsburgh. And I got a chance to talk to him, and Marvin Lewis was on that staff. I believe that Paul Hackett was the head coach. And John Gruden, just a great personality. And we actually played against each other in college. He played for Dayton, and he remembered me. That's how we got in a conversation. I didn't remember him because about 7 quarterbacks would have had to get hurt before he go in. He was a better coach than player. But I remember the Pitt players coming up to me saying, that guy's going to be a head coach one day. He had that kind of magnetism. And I asked them about Marvin Lewis, and they said he was a bum. But anyhow, Al Levine, the talking machine, I believe that everybody should get a second chance in life. Hey, listen, I don't know all that happened, and I'm sure the VIP of BPTV will clear it up. But Al Levine, the talking machine, now everybody's piling on. Tampa Bay Buccaneers is taking him out of the Ring of Fame. Al Levine, the talking machine. He's always employed more black players than any other team in football. He's the only coach in the NFL that starts an openly gay player, and the guy's one of the stars of their defense. And hey, listen, I believe this. Private emails should be private. And this is America. You should have some rights. Hey, listen, I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about John Gruden. Hey, if he needs some help or something, but why fire the guy? He'll never be able to work again. And I think it's a shame. I believe he should have been able to get a second chance.
Well, I got to do the disclaimer right off the bat. Smoking Jim really doesn't know about our Constitution and our rights as American citizens. And we've had many discussions on it. And no offense, he's my best friend. He's my BFF. But there's not a clue there. And I mean that being heartfelt. And this is terrible.
He's got to have some rights.
I believe he did have his rights. He abused his rights. And he must have been a very duplicitous type of man.
I don't know what that means.
Well, he presents one facade, and he's truly different behind the scenes. And he fooled a lot of people, including a naive young Smoking Jim Cal State running back before he got injured. So he fooled him because to just say he recognized Smoking Jim, he's all about the PR. And to me, in this, let the courts and all that decide what should happen. But if you work for me and you're like that, you can't work for me because that's against what everything I believe as a human being. Because I don't care what color you are. Tell me what color Smoking Jim is, because I don't see it. So for anything like that to happen and be talked about, that's so bothersome and hurtful to me that I can't even listen to what you just said, because it hurts me and it hurts others, that it's beyond.
Can I just say one thing?
You can say whatever you want, because I'm not picking on you.
But John Gruden never said those things. That was a private email, don't you think?
Let me explain something. If you write something down and that's from you personally, that's you. That's how simple it is. Like you text me something, okay, you show me a video, that's something else. You text me something and you say something, that's what you say. That's what he did. This wasn't a video, this wasn't a picture, this was his comments. And Chip, if you got something to say.
Well, the only thing I'll have to say if we're moving forward is I completely disagree with Jim 100%.
Yeah.
Other than that, let's move on.
And just so everyone knows, I dedicated my whole opinion segment to John Gruden, so
Okay.
you'll hear from me later.
But I
Okay.
I love Jim. He's my dear friend. I disagree with his point of view. I'll just leave it at that. What's on my mind? I do believe that there should be accountability for your words and for your actions, okay? But I'm going to take us in a different direction because it's just in professional sports in general. One of the things that I find personally upsetting is watching the Boston Red Sox continue on into the playoffs with a coach who was implicated in the cheating scandal of the Houston Astros in 2017. And he has a job as a major league manager once again, even though he was involved in a cheating scandal. The coach of the Houston Astros during that season, when they cheated and won a World Series, A.J. Hinch, is once again a manager in the major leagues for the Detroit Tigers. I have a problem with that. In the NFL, supposedly the greatest coach of all time Bill Belichick has been sanctioned 3 times for cheating, okay? And somehow in professional sports, this seems to be accepted. You look through the college football ranks, and coach after coach gets recruiting violations and gets sanctioned and has to leave one university only to sign a more lucrative contract with another university, because he's a great recruiter, and he wins a lot of games. And I think at some point that coaches that are involved in cheating scandals should be held accountable for their actions. You shouldn't be allowed to continue to coach in a professional sport, in college, or whatever. So to get off on a different subject,
Yes.
that's what's on my mind this week.
I appreciate that, Chip. Thank you.
Good job, Chip.
Nick Callis, what's on your mind?
We get a little more personal this week on what's on my mind, because I was contemplating, since I heard Sportsline's been around for 10 years and I've only been here for a short time, just
How many
contemplating.
months?
Well, actually, it's 11 Smoking Jim, so not 10.
That's a gateway math.
Right, yeah, of course. little bit off. No, I was just thinking, where I was 10 years ago, thinking, I was still playing fall ball. Like, it was around October. I just recovered from a.
Explain fall ball to Smoking Jim.
It's baseball, but you play it in the fall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He didn't know.
All right, well, now you do.
When to help out.
I remember I had my first fractured my thumb 10 years ago. Made my debut as a defensive end in 7th grade football. And to think, I'm thinking back then, it's like, well, man, if I'd have thought that I'd have been here today wearing, being the VIP of BPTV, right, having all the parking spots and getting to talk about sports and kind of living out, really what I want to do is just talk about sports and report on sports, If you'd have told me I'd been in this seat 10 years ago, all that was going on, I'd have been like, man, can't really see it. But now I can, and I'm grateful. I just want to express my gratitude to Al. I know you mentioned that earlier. I guess I've convinced you to let me on here, but I appreciate the opportunity, and I want to let everybody else know that, because right now in my life, there's no place I'd rather be than working at a sports radio station and getting to talk about sports every week. So I just want to let you know that. Thank you, Al. You're the man.
You're welcome. And somehow you talked your way into it with that great voice that anybody that wants to criticize his voice, I don't want to even talk to them. So you're more than welcome. I'm honored to have you on the show and continue this legacy. And you understand legacy.
Yes.
Because that's what I'm trying to leave, a legacy. Smoking Jim will explain that. Look that up in the dictionary. Where are we at? Got to bring it out. Shout out to Lois Brenner. We'll go there. December 14th, 1909. Standard Dictionary Key to Pronunciation by Charles P.G. Scott. And he's actually a Ph.D.
Wow.
And she gave it to me. Let me see if legacy is in here.
Is that Funk and Wagnalls?
No, this is beyond Funk and Wagnalls, but thanks, Chip. I appreciate you you're filling in there. All right, we're at K. We're at L. Let's see if we can get legacy. Smoking Jim, where's E come out? After A? The closest thing we have is legislative.
That's not quite it, is it?
No legacy here for Smoking Jim.
I
Lois.
guess that didn't exist in 1908.
No, they'll have to get the Funk and Wagnalls out because we're putting this back.
I got one more thing as well, now that I remembered.
Well, I'm glad I could segue into you adding something in.
Excellent.
Because most of us add something else.
Yes.
Welcome aboard. Job,
I rarely do, so
job
I'm just like,
well done. Yes, carry on.
just one more thing. Okay. No.
Please.
Thanks
share it.
to a combination effort from A2 and Ryan, two interns now volunteers at the station. They specialize in graphics, so stay tuned after the commercials when we all do our segments, because we got a little surprise for everybody at the table today. So.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, sir.
You're kidding.
And ongoing.
Yes, sir.
What's a special occasion?
Yeah, what is it?
I'll take back
can't
my
tell you.
T-shirt joke.
That's what's on my mind.
Thank you very much. I can't wait. I'm trying to juggle putting cake in here for Dave Cable and his family. I butchered this up like nobody's business. Hold it.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks
How he
and
keeps
fans.
that off that stash is beyond me.
Practice.
Yeah.
Skills.
I like to get a little on me.
Thank you. Oh, okay. What's on my mind is I'm watching a game of football Monday night, and I'm switching because my son, he loves to switch channels, watch other sports, and we go, there's baseball on. So we're watching a game, and there's 11th inning game. Tampa and Boston are playing, 11th inning. And I never saw this happen before. 11th inning.
Sunday night.
Sunday night. Yeah, it was Sunday night football. I digress there. I went game ahead. Sunday night, and we're watching the game. Guy gets on first, then it's first and third. Guy comes up, I think there's 1 out or 2 outs maybe, and there's a ball hit out into right field. The right fielder runs over, the ball hits the base of the wall, and they're only about 4-foot walls along there, and it bounces off of him and goes over the wall. He goes like to get the ball because I'm thinking, is that a dead ball and an automatic double because it went out of the field, or did it bounce off of him and you can play it? Well, guess what? It was a ground rule double. And that's in the rules. They had to go through the rules and get the people to read the rules to us. And I was just shocked by it because I never saw that happen,
Well,
Chip.
we never saw that happen. And the reason why that was a ground rule double, and they had to review the play to determine that the player did not initiate the ball going into
Right.
the stands. The ball hit the player, and the ball inadvertently ricocheted off the player into the stands. Now, if the player would have, used his forearm to shoo the ball into the stands, it would have been a live ball. The thing that hurt the Tampa Bay Rays at the time was that there was a runner on first
Yes.
who would have scored.
He was already
on the
around
play,
third,
but
yeah.
because it was a book rule double, the runner goes to the batter goes to second. The runner on first can't go any further than third base. Subsequently, no runs were scored, and Boston hits a walk-off home run in the bottom of the inning, ending
Wow.
the game.
Right. We were just shocked by it because my son and I, he goes, "You ever see it?" I go, "No." He goes, "I never saw it." And they were saying they never saw it.
And that's the thing. The way the rule's written, is it they had to determine whether or not he intentionally
Right.
deflected the ball into the stands, which they determined that he didn't. Whether he did or whether he didn't doesn't matter.
Right.
The game's over, and the Red Sox have eliminated the Rays.
So when you see sports, I've always said the good team doesn't always win, but the lucky team always does.
Well, and and the Tampa Bay Rays are the best team in the American League this year, over 100 wins. The Red Sox were hot at the right time.
Yes. And don't we always say the later you get hot in a season, the better it is for you?
Yep.
And
No,
champions
there-
are made that
there
way.
it
We've
is. So it's the Red Sox and the Astros Friday night, ALCS.
Yeah, and then another little side note. Before I came in, I'm watching, and I see this pitcher on the mound throwing 97-mile-per-hour fastballs, 98-mile-per-hour fastballs after he loaded up the bases and he got out of a jam. Charlie Morton.
Wow.
Charlie Morton has been a quality pitcher since he left Pittsburgh. He's pitched well for the Phillies, for the Astros, for the Braves.
Yeah.
And he's been in a lot of. He actually pitched real well for the Tampa Rays
Yes, he
for
did.
a couple of seasons. He's been in the playoffs, I believe. In
He
the
was
last
7 and- he was 7 and
last-
4.
Last 4 years, he's pitched in the playoffs.
11 times he's pitched. His record is 7-4,
Ain't bad.
not counting today.
Well, and actually, if you remember, back in 2013, he pitched real well in the 5-game series against the Cardinals.
Yes.
He did. He did.
He showed some brilliance.
He would have been a better start than Garrett Cole in game 5 that year against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole's is garnering a reputation of falling flat on his face in big games.
You mean a choker?
Well, when it's all on the line, twice in the wild card playoff, he's gotten shelled.
Don't forget it's Game 5 start in 2013 in the division series.
Yes, and he lost that game too.
Yep.
You know, he got shut. That's what I was alluding to.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because he started
Sorry.
in lieu of A.J. Burnett, which never sat well with A.J. Burnett.
No.
and then he signed with the Phillies the next year.
Yes. Well, of course.
And then he came back home.
Yeah. And we'll be back with some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
Oh, that's some awesome stuff. Oh, I ain't gonna talk Bitcoin today, but I want to. But hey,
Why not? It
L-
must have
LV.
went down again, folks.
LV.
Bitcoin's going down.
Did you just try to recruit me last night?
Yeah, for Bitcoin. I told him I could flip 500, but he wouldn't give it to me. But hey, L. Levine,
Give me a call next time.
Yes, sir.
hey, I was going deep in my pockets on Saturday because I was going to get the pay-per-view for the Tyson Fury Wilder fight.
Yeah.
But I ended up going to Claudio's for free, free food, free
No.
fight. Yeah, I was going to pay. But hey, they talk about trilogy fights. Everybody talks about Frazier Ali.
Yeah.
Well, that one you had two fat fighters who was over the hill. You know what I mean? I like Arturo Gatti, and I can't think of Mickey Ward.
Yeah.
But they were two average to above average fighters. Hey, listen. That Tyson Fury, 6'9", 280 pounds. He can float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. His boxing IQ is high. And I tell you what, L. Levine, the talking machine.
What?
I'm a boxing historian.
I know.
And we do a lot of fights together, L. Levine, the talking machine.
Yeah, we do.
And I tell you what, I study boxing. I go all the way back to Jack Johnson. Move over Muhammad Ali, move over Rocky Marciano. Tyson Fury's the greatest ever seen in the ring. L. Levine, the talking machine.
Wow.
This guy can talk it like Muhammad Ali. He can back it up. I don't see anybody in the history, heavyweights in the history of boxing, that could go with this guy. This guy's unbelievable. His only drawback
Yeah.
is he's suicidal, he's bipolar,
Yeah.
and a little bit crazy. But when he's on his game, he's undefeated for a reason. And I don't see anybody that's capable in the history of boxing of beating Tyson Fury. And that's what's on my mind. That's the best trilogy fight.
And
Because
the
of
only
Tyson
thing that
Fury.
I
Thought
think
that was
Tyson
fiction
Fury
and
is never going to be able to do
missed it.
is float.
Hey, Smokin'. just
I bet you he swims like a rock.
to interrupt
You don't want to mess with no gypsies.
Just to interrupt you, Smokin' Jim, we did What's on Your Mind at the beginning, and I know you suffered CTE, no offense meant, too many concussions. That was fiction and fact, and you saw the nice almanac.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That
aren't
was
they?
so awesome.
Aren't these young volunteers great here?
I tell you, they got so much talent. You know, I would like them to go head to head with the Art Institute. I would like to see. Hey,
Now that's funny.
Can we sponsor that? A head to head competition.
We're moving on again. Chip Painter, let's go to Chip.
All right, everybody. So trivia time tonight. You know, I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm scratching my noodle while I'm at my desk today, and I'm like, what would be appropriate trivia for tonight? And I know there's only one other person in this room that knows the significance of tomorrow. But the greatest sporting event to ever happen in this city of Pittsburgh happened on October the 13th. Okay? Now, the second greatest moment in sports history that happened in the city of Pittsburgh was on October 1st, 2013. 20 years of losing ended for the Pirates. The Pirates beat the Cincinnati Reds 4-2 in the wild card play-in game. The electricity that surrounded PNC Park, a sold-out PNC Park, was like nothing I have ever experienced in my life. But that only rates as the second greatest moment in sports history.
Wow.
The first And the number one moment in Pittsburgh sports history happened on October 13th, 1960. Bill Mazeroski, in the bottom of the ninth, hits a one-run homer to beat the mighty Yankees and for the Pittsburgh Pirates to win the only championship that was ever won in the city of Pittsburgh. Now, a lot of people will say that the Immaculate Reception was one of the greatest moments ever. Unfortunately, most of Pittsburghers didn't get to see it because the game was not sold out, and it was blacked out for 75 miles from around Pittsburgh. I had to watch that game on 24-hour tape delay.
Right, me too.
I heard Jack Fleming make the call on Saturday afternoon. I was in a friend of mine's kitchen. You know, we were 12 years old, and we were hooting and hollering and jumping up and down and imagining what it looked like, but we couldn't see it. But that being said, so to talk about my trivia for tonight, let's go back to the 1960 World Series.
All right.
Here we had the New York Yankees, who were 97-57, playing the Pittsburgh Pirates, 95-59. October the 13th, 1960, 3:37 p.m. on the Longines clock.
Right.
Bill Mazeroski hits it out with nobody on, no outs in the bottom of the ninth. Ralph Terry on the mound. Just to give you an idea of how that World Series went, first game was played on October the 5th. Pirates beat the Yankees 6-4, surprisingly. Nobody expected the Pirates to beat the Yankees at all. Everybody was expecting the mighty Yankees of Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris to destroy the Pittsburgh Pirates. So Game 2 was played on October 6th, and that's exactly what the New York Yankees did. They beat the Pirates 16-3. And just to show that last game was no fluke, the Yankees destroyed the Pittsburgh Pirates in Game 3, 10-0. And that was on October the 8th. Game 4, Pittsburgh squeaks out a one-run victory by a score of 3-2, beats the Yankees, ties the series up. Pittsburgh wins Game 5. Game 5, Pittsburgh won by a score of 5-2. Game 6, the mighty Yankees bats came alive. The Yankees destroyed the Pittsburgh Pirates 12-0, the second shutout of the series.
Wow.
And Game 7, a game that went back and forth. The Yankees scored 2 runs in the top of the ninth to tie the game at 9. Ralph Terry on the mound, Bill Mazeroski at bat, and the rest is history. And I say that is the greatest moment in Pittsburgh sports history because it happened here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Sellout crowd. The city went nuts. At that time, I was 5 weeks old, so I can't say that I vividly remember that, but that memory is etched into my brain. My father, I swear, he was so hard on me as a coach growing up because my grandfather had tickets to Game 7 and offered to take my dad. My dad decided to stay home with my mother and me.
watch Chipper come on.
And
Missed it.
another member of the family got to go see Game 7 and not my dad. But take it for what it's worth. But it's a monumental moment in Pittsburgh sports history. That's my trivia this week.
Well, I'm not going to debate you with number 1, Mazeroski. That had to be. I mean, I was at the MAC reception, so that had to be number 2. But there was another championship won in the city of Pittsburgh.
Yes, the Pittsburgh Condors.
1968, yes, sir.
Very good, awesome, Jim. Great trivia. And who was the leader of that team?
Connie
Hawk
Hawkins.
time, the Hawk time,
Met
right?
the Hawk.
Hawk time.
And I got to do a disclaimer in smoking Jim's favor.
I got a good memory.
No,
Oh, I don't
this
know about
is on a note where he usually goes negative about anything Chip, I, or Nick bring up about sports. This was the first time in 2021, let me explain, first time on our 10th anniversary show that he brought something positive and good in Pittsburgh.
Yay!
So I thank you, my friend. And he's been with me from our first show, and he's still with us. I don't know how he hung on, but he's still with us.
That immaculate reception brought back good memories. I was there.
I still don't believe the 3,000 hit with Roberto.
I was there.
That you were there, because you can't tell me who was with you.
But we do remember what happened a week after the Immaculate Reception.
Yeah.
The Steelers lost to the 72 Dolphins.
I was at that game too.
Okay, and
Yeah.
2 days later,
Roberto
Roberto
passed.
Clemente
That was a
passed
bad
away.
week.
Yeah.
Definitely a bad week.
What a combination.
Bad week.
All right. Thank you for that, Chip.
What you talking about? Very important positions. John Gruden. He's a guy. He's smoking Jim.
Yes, sir.
You just, I don't understand you, man. It's crazy. Let me tell you this though. When we talk about how silly do you have to be to document whatever racist or homophobic feelings that you might have towards somebody? How do you do that? How do you put it in an email where people can like find it? Like that stuff doesn't go away. That's all got a footprint. So John Gruden's dumb. But also for those who are like, also for those people who are like, hey, everybody does that. It happens. Why can't we give them a second chance? Well, when we think about what it means to judge somebody for their characteristics or things that are out of their control, like the size of that president's NFLPA president's lips, like why are we judging people for that kind of stuff? In this society. I'm just saying. You think it's funny, and that's all right. But I'm just saying, why are we judging people for that kind of stuff when that stuff, is out of people's control? Like, he can't control the size of his lips. I get that. I still think you get that's funny. But my point is that
You can't even talk.
That's what I'm saying. So when we talk about like when we make fun of people for things that are out of their control, it's no good. So John Gruden, I think instead of saying, oh yeah, give him a second chance, everybody does that. Maybe let's look at the culture and go, hey, maybe that stuff isn't okay, and people who still talk like that and judge people like that aren't fit to be leaders in this country. Just think about that. I don't want John Gruden, with what he said and done, and it's not just that one incident. There are other things that came out as well that are homophobic and pretty much racist. So we don't want those people being in leadership positions. We don't want those people existing in an efficient workforce that is America. So
to
I'm fine with
touch
it.
on your spot is that, if you're going to be held in that position as the face of a multi-billion-dollar franchise, which is what basically most NFL franchise, you have to be held to a higher standard. Okay, and if you're not
Simple as
willing,
that.
if and I just think that comes with the turf, and you have to be willing to accept that. And it just putting things out on social media or putting things in an email, you have to think twice, because once something's out there in the digital world, it's anybody can grab a hold of it, and and it can be used against you. And it's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in.
Well,
And
Nick said a good point about him being dumb. Like Smoking Jim, some people might say he's dumb,
No, he's not.
but he doesn't answer one email, and all his things on Facebook are LOL. When it's like, what year? It's LOL. So he's always been a smart guy, but he doesn't understand a lot of this interpersonal stuff, because he did work for an internationally known company, and they hired many different people. And somehow, some way, they hired him.
Because I was black.
Smoking Jim, what's your favorite color? September. But if you're gonna say things like that, I guess don't do it in like in email or things that can be documented. But also, if you still think like that, don't. It's not good. It's not okay to judge people for that kind of stuff. The end.
He apologized.
Of course he did, because he got caught.
Smoking Jim, what do a lot of liars and cheats do to other people? They apologize, but they still committed something that's wrong. You can't justify what they did as even right or close to it. It's wrong.
John Gruden created more black millionaires than any other coach in the history of the National Football League.
I need your proof.
Yeah, where's your evidence? There is evidence that he sent that email, though. Yeah.
I personally don't see how you can defend his actions.
Chip, was I right or wrong?
I agree. what happened to John Gruden is exactly what should have happened to
I
him.
feel bad for him.
I agree, and
You know, I
you're
mean-
allowed to be friends with somebody that we really don't think is a good person, and he proved it by what he sent. So you can have your beliefs, we have ours. It's just not a good thing.
Can I just say one thing before we move on?
Is it negative or positive?
It's positive.
Okay.
There's only one openly gay player in the National Football League. He plays for John Gruden, and he's the star of the defense.
So then, what would make him make the comments he made about Michael Sams at the time that he did?
That was 10 years ago. He
It doesn't
learned
matter.
from it.
That's
he
him.
grew from it.
That's him.
Well, why is he playing the openly gay guy now?
He didn't have a choice. When he drafted him, when he made the team, he didn't know he was openly gay.
Oh,
it was after the fact that he was a starter that he came out and said, "I'm gay." So I mean, it's not like he went and actively recruited an openly gay man. I am absolutely certain if he would have known that beforehand, he would have probably never drafted
Well, so
him.
we don't argue too much. Smoking Jim, you got to go back in time with facts, not just something that you hear. And you like everybody, so if somebody notices you, you're the greatest fan of the last person you talked to. So you're like friends of mine that I worked with at the Press and Post-Gazette. That's it for Nick. I got to see what they came up for the talking machine. I can't wait. My head is stuck here in awe of what these great guys did. You pumped me up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. My hat goes off. I'm honored. And thank you so much. That means a lot. On location, you saw where we were. They didn't put all the names in because they watched so many of our shows, they forgot to write down the names because they're starting to try to follow Smoking Jim and not me. So we have an issue with it. Like, I just have to share this with A2. You were one of the heroes of the volunteers and interns, actually, because you had the greatest swag. Now you saw how Smoking Jim turned on a dime. That's an old phrase. He turned on a dime, and your shirt is actually great because it says Pittsburgh. And I'm all about Pittsburgh. I even posted history of Pittsburgh back when George Washington came here in 1758. He was 21 years old. George Washington, you know who he is.
Why are you saluting?
Salute.
He was president.
Only white Washington I know.
No, that's not true. I told you about. I know somebody with the last name Washington who's white.
But
We
that's what
wanna-
happened with the swag, man. Now all of a sudden you threw him to the curb, and that's why we have so much fun. I want to thank everybody out there for watching us and enjoying our show, and it's quite an honor again to do this. It's just been a great night. Never expected anything like this ever, so it's beyond what I even dreamed of. So I appreciate it. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to Chip. Thanks to Smoking Jim. Thanks to Nick. Any co-hosts we had here, even the one guy that I had to fire, I even thank him for bringing Chip, Smoking Jim, and I together. And in honor to show no respect, I won't mention his name. And
Well, and I want to thank Jim and Alan for making my transition into the show pretty seamless. It seemed the first night I was here, I remember I was a little nervous, but they made me feel welcome, and we kind of connected almost immediately.
And
We
I
had
have to interrupt
chemistry.
you on one thing. He said he brings up trivia that nobody cares about, and I go, Chip.
No, my comment was, I'm a fountain of useless information.
Yes, and I go, it's not. Yeah, that was his quote. And I go, Chip, I'm a fan of trivia and useless, information. So we bonded on that almost immediately, and we've been able to disagree and agree to carry on with our opinions.
And I
in
tried
sports.
to bring something relevant, pertinent to the Pittsburgh sports scene and what's going on in sports in general each and every week. So I do. Sometimes I fly by the seat of my pants, but I do
Yeah.
try to put some thought into what my segments are.
Can we mic you up in the hospital? Would you bet bro?
But you know what? I'll be convalescent at home.
I don't know
We'll
what that means.
FaceTime. We'll FaceTime.
Speaking of hospitals, the only reason I think I'm on the show right now is because you landed yourself in a hospital.
but wait,
The day I got out here.
1 minute there, but wait, you know,
Yes.
because this is Pittsburgh Sportsline, and I just have to say this, but once again, the Steelers train is on track for the Super Bowl, okay?
Yeah.
Buy your tickets. Rent those hotel rooms. Rent an RV.
And since
We're
we
going
did,
all the way.
since Chip had to mention it, we went from 73% passing to 27% running, and we could run the ball. And these rookie linemen blocked for Najee. He had 122 yards, and Ben didn't throw any high balls like he was before, and missing receivers. He was spot on, so he's not washed up.
And wait a minute, you know, because we only got a few minutes.
Yeah.
Remember I said it was going to take about 6 games or so for the line to
did say
start
that.
playing well.
You did say that.
The
And
prophet,
I said that at training camp.
the prophet Chip
Game
Hayner
6 this
strikes
week.
again. He first became the prophet when he talked about the Giants winning, and that was a long time ago, and the prophet came
beating
back.
the undefeated Patriots.
Yes, he did that on Pittsburgh Sportsline. We have a lot of great history. Check out some of our 700 shows on YouTube whenever you get a chance, and keep on watching. We plan on doing this as long as we can talk. And now that we know we got Facebook Live, we could be in hospitals, we could be in beds, that we can talk. And we got a young man that carry the mail here. Hey, please stay Joey strong.